What's up, everyone? It's your boy Norman Radd89 here, bringing you another video today. For today's video, we're going to be reviewing a film called You Won't Be Alone. I recently just got this film on Peacock about a couple days ago. It's directed by Goran Stolevski, and man, this was quite an eventful watch for sure. I was very surprised about how much I enjoyed this film. I knew what it was kind of going into it, but I was very surprised with how much I enjoyed it. So let's get down to this. We're going to talk positives, negatives, my rating, then I'm going to send you all home. Roll it. So You Won't Be Alone is a new horror film I recently just caught where we follow a 19th century Macedonian woman who is cursed by an ancient spirit and is turned into a witch and then accidentally kills a member of a village and then takes the shape of her, so she basically starts shape-shifting and she goes through different periods throughout the film. So let's get down to talking about this. Positives right away off the bat. The acting is really well done. Be it that a film that we're watching right now is a film that doesn't have a lot of dialogue. There's a very little dialogue in this entire movie, but that character acting and mannerisms and just the way that they shoot it in that time, it's like you're literally watching real people in Macedonia in the 19th century. That's how it feels. That's how it comes across, because that's how authentic they film it and that the acting comes across. Another good thing I like about this film is it has this very cool themes and transitions throughout the film. It's kind of like you're watching almost three different movies. They're not filmed differently or anything like that, but the character, the transitions that they go through, it's crazy how they get to experience different points in different lives, different sexes, all this kind of stuff just by shape-shifting and going through life. And because it's a witch and they have immortality, until someone burns them at the stake or tries to kill them or something, then it's like, oh wow, she really does get to experience life and is very curious. And the character that we're following throughout this film is like, that's her main thing, is curiosity. But it serves her well. It's kind of like, normally in movies and shows how they're like, curiosity killed the cat, but in some instances it can be really good. And, wonder and all that kind of stuff can really serve you in learning more for the future. I also like just the fact that we have some really good story elements and this whole entire film. It was very well thought out. You can tell the direction of the film, the story, the acting, it was all for a purpose, and you can see the goal as you're watching the film. You can see the goal at the end, but they do kind of put a little twist on it. I'm not going to spoil anything, but at the end they do kind of put a little twist on it, because I pictured actually a different route. So this film, another positive, it is unpredictable, being that you do learn a lot about this character, spend so much time with this character, and when we get to that third act, I really expected something different. So this film was unpredictable. So that's another great positive about it in my book as well. And like I said, it is a period piece film, so that's a good nature about it too. It's hard for me to get into oldie time films. That's what I was saying when I was reading about the story of this film and the synopsis before I went into this film. I read the synopsis and I was like, it's hard for me to get into period piece films that are dated back then, you know what I mean? I'm a much bigger fan of sci-fi, futuristic stuff, that's just my thing. So when we go dating back, it really has to be very authentic and an interesting take on a period piece film, or have great acting, all that kind of stuff. And this film really does have all of those elements inside of it. But let's get down to talking about the negatives, because there are a couple gripes with this film. I wouldn't say they're major negatives, but they're kind of like intermediate, like mediocre negatives. My main one, if I was to pick one as the top negative, is that this film is a little too long. It's a little too long, and I understand where we're going and the journey we're taking with this character, and it does, take place over years and years and years. So it, what I mean, that kind of story does require a lot of attention. But I think this film could have been shaved down maybe 10, 20 minutes, and it would have been fine. This could have been easily shaved, because this approaches almost 2 hours. I think it's an hour and 50-something minutes. I think really 10, 20 minutes off of this film would have been fine, and they would have still been able to tell the story that they did, and it would have been a little tighter and probably better. Another thing with this film is this isn't a movie that I would return to often. I do like this film, and I had an amazing time with this film and was thoroughly surprised with how much I enjoyed it, but it's not going to be a film I'm going to return to often. Like, even if I owned it, it would be one of those movies that I would, after times of kind of forgetting things or not really remembering the experience, then I would return to it. Then I'd be like, or showing someone new. If someone new had never seen it, I'd be like, oh, we got to watch this because you have to experience this for the first time, and I want to see how you react to it, kind of thing. But yeah, this isn't going to be one of those movies that I'm going to be grabbing every month or every 2 months just to get a little viewing of it. But overall, in my book, You Won't Be Alone is still a slam dunk, amazing film in my book. For a rating, it's going to land in at an 8 out of 10. Still, like I said, a very solid rating. I had a great time with this film. I was expecting just to kind of mediocre like this film and not really love it, but this is a really good film that, like I said, just the only things holding it back are it's really long, could have been tighter, and just the content and all that kind of stuff. It's not something that I would rewatch often, but the take on the stuff and the horror elements, everything in it, and the story, the characters all land very well. And it's very subtle horror. It's not graphic, horrific. Like if you can watch this even if you're not into horror, because it's very subtle, nice horror, kind of like that old school like Goosebumps stuff you'd read back in the day. Thanks for sticking around with me all for another review and hanging out on my channel. I would love to hear from all of you. If you've seen this film, hit me up in the comments section. Let me know what you think of this one. Like I said, I would love to hear your thoughts. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss a thing on the channel. Have a safe and happy day, everyone. Peace out.